Ready to get the inside scoop on equity funding? Tune into TDJ Equity Funding Insiders Podcast for an in-depth look at what it takes to access financial capital and maximize your investments. Hear from experienced professionals, including bankers, underwriters, loan officers, and industry experts as they share their unfiltered stories and valuable lessons on securing funds.
Welcome to another show of Giving Power to the Business Owner series. I'm your host, Jacqueline Jackson. This series, GPBO, is all about equipping, evaluating, and empowering business owners with the tools, strategies, and mindset needed to take control of their vision and build sustainable success. Here we focus on real conversations, practical insights, and the kind of knowledge that moves you from working in your business to truly owning it. GPO stands for more than just a title. It represents giving business owners clarity and their direction, providing practical strategies for growth and scalability, open access to expert knowledge and lived experience, building confidence to lead, decide, and execute with purpose, creating a space where business owners feel seen, supported, and empowered. This is where business meets ownership and ownerships meets power. Now, let's get into today's conversation. Today's guest is Joe Killinger, a commercial real estate veteran, investor, founder who has spent decades helping shape deals, scale businesses, and navigate the real estate market at a high level. Joe brings a rare mix of brokerage experience, operator insight, and entrepreneur perspective, which makes him the perfect guest to talk about what it really takes to grow in real estate, secure the capital to keep moving forward. We are excited to have him today, and we want to welcome him to our show. Welcome to our show, Joe.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for having me on.
All right, we're looking forward. We want to get in and see. We gave a nice little background of how we feel about you and what we found out about you. And we thank you so much because I know you're busy, but I'm just glad you squeezed us in to kind of give us some little insight of what you have. So thank you so much for getting in and doing that for us. All right, let's go start off. The first question we have for you is what first pulled you into the commercial real estate and how did that evolve your career basically from there?
Well, how long you got? I don't know how long this show is, but I'll make it. I'll give you the short version. How about that? So I grew up on a farm in central Nebraska, and my father was doing real estate auctions. And, well, he actually started off doing just auction. He started off with, farm equipment, animals in a sale barn. Then he ended up getting into real estate. And I didn't care about all that auction stuff, but the real estate stuff, for some reason, as a kid, I just was watching him and I learned, I go, okay, I love this. I love everything about it. He was mostly focused on farmland where I'm central Nebraska. So it was mostly farmland, went to college, and this company called Woods Brothers Realty out of Lincoln, Nebraska, Pace Woods Jr. hired me. I mean, Jacqueline, if you'd have seen me, you'd thought I was 12 years old. I don't know why he gave me a chance, but he did. And I got that lecture of like, hey, do you believe you're a good person, Joe? And I said, yeah, I think so. And he throws the telephone book down and goes, these people need to understand that when you're trying to take care of their real estate business. So start calling. I'm like, okay. Fortunately, an older person in the office was there and gave me a lot of hindsight and mentoring, and it really helped a lot. So shout out to Mimi Cotton and all those people at Wood Brothers Realty in Lincoln, Nebraska, in the Country Club Plaza area. It was, but I just fell in love with it. It was just something I loved. I loved the way you could change an area, bringing new people into it. But I ended up, my family ended up losing the farm. So I ended up having to move to California. But I knew that I was going to be in real estate. So as soon as I could afford it, I got my real estate license, and the rest is pretty much history.
Pretty much history. It sure is. And we are glad you got that history. All right. So you have been in the industry for decades. Well, not trying, you know what I'm saying?
Long
for
time.
a while, okay?
Pre gray hair.
Yeah. So, if you would tell our audience, what do you think has changed the most in the commercial real estate industry?
Oh, yeah, it's not the same. On the brokerage side, it's when I got in, you just picked up the phone, started calling people.
Mhm.
But the brokers controlled all the information back then, keep in mind. So there was no MLS, there was no CoStar, there was no LoopNet, nothing. It was all on paper, right? So
Right,
if you wanted something, you actually had to call a broker and ask them. So the brokers controlled the data. And that was how I started. Whereas now, everybody knows everything going on. You've got a client. There's a good chance they know what they're talking about before they call you. So you better be up on your market, your asset class in that marketplace before you pick up that phone and answer it. Because if a client knows more than you got a problem.
right. You are so true. So, what's one of the you think investors and business owners misunderstanding about getting deals funded? What is one of the most you think?
And that's, I just had this talk with an agent the other day, is we get so many calls, Jacqueline. It's not even people go, hey, I want to open this business. Typically it's a restaurant, right? They want us to launch a restaurant or a retail store or start this new business. And they haven't even thought about their financing yet. They haven't thought about how they're going to fund it. And so I don't know if it's a lack of, I think there just needs to be more knowledge about this, more education on it. I don't know how, but now there are a lot of, as you're well aware, your competition, there's a lot of fraudsters out there, right? And so
Right,
I think people are a little bit nervous, but find a good place to really get your numbers put together before you eat, because every owner of real estate, and I have this talk with a lot of newer people who are starting a business. You've got to understand, you got to come from the owner of the real estate's mindset, because they're thinking, okay, I want to get somebody in here that's going to be long term. I don't want to put somebody in there that's maybe going to make it. They
right,
want to see your financials. They want to see that you got funding. And can you blame them? You're taking
right.
over their real estate.
That's
And,
right.
and if you don't make it, now they got to go out and get you out and start over again. So you've just got to be in the mindset of really think about what the landlord really needs and what should your funding look like.
Exactly. So, and with AI and so much technology out here, like you said, there's no reason for you to come unprepared. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
There's
It's really not.
not.
It's
There's
compared
not.
to having to go to the brokers years ago, decades ago, we had to go to the
Yeah.
broker to get the information. So
Yeah.
you basically say it's no reason. So we have to do better. And I
Yeah.
love
Well,
that.
and I also think the brokerage community, I get so many brokers, they're afraid to ask that person that wants to open that new business for their financials. I'm like,
What?
yeah. I'm like, why would you not ask for them? They go, well, it's so personal. I go, yeah, it is. It's very personal. I want to see, tax returns. I want to see your money. I want to see your bank statements. I want to see all of that. If you've got funding, where is it and who's it through and what's the process? You got to have all that put together. And a lot of brokers are afraid to ask for that right off the bat,
Now
so.
this question gonna probably have a lead off of what you just said. So
Mm.
when you look at a deal, what is the biggest signs that's strong enough for you to pursue? I'm for sure you're gonna start having that stuff.
What we do, I don't really do deals. I operate our company. So we have multiple companies that in this website that I operate too for everybody. Um, I tell our agents, if you're going to it depends on your market. Now, if you're in Kansas, this is not going to sound good, but I tell our agents, if you're not putting in your pocket 12 to $15,000 per transaction, I would refer it out to a new agent, and let them get the education. But now, if you're in a different market, that's you got to adjust for your marketplace. I mean, we're looking at markets that are, $5, $6, $7 a square foot, and or monthly. And so, you get into some other places and it's not near that high. So really just know how much you want to make in your pocket per transaction is what I tell our agents, and focus
Okay.
on those deals.
So those are type of deals. So when you look at a deal, you look at what you can make off the deal, determine
Hmm.
I keep it or you send it to somebody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And well, you can work it backward from there. So if I'm going to work it, that means it's got to be, I need to have X amount of lease, $90,000, $100,000 a year annually, and then work it So you want to work it backward off of what you want to pocket, and then you figure out how big of a deal you're going to have to do to make that money.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
All right, setting goals basically. That sounds good. I
Some
like that
agents
answer.
don't. Some agents just take every deal. We had a restaurant broker years ago, and he was one of the top restaurant brokers, and he would do over 20 deals a year, and he was making less than $120,000 a year. So that's a lot of work for that kind of
Uh-huh.
money.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sure
think about
is.
that. You take after expenses and taxes. So that's why I think it's so important to really know what you're doing and really
Right.
know your numbers. Everybody will tell you know your numbers.
Right, exactly. So let me ask you this.
Hmm.
How important do you think it is, the credibility and track record when it comes to raising capital? How important do you think
Oh,
that really is?
we went through a phase, and I watched it and it was painful to watch when COVID was going. You saw all these people on social media talking about how they've raised money, how they're out buying apartment buildings, how they're getting these kind of numbers. And we also own a mortgage company, a commercial real estate mortgage company based out of Dallas, actually,
Mhm.
out of Texas. And so I'm talking to our partner there. I said, "Do you see this?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm following it too." He goes, "I said, have you looked at any of the deals?" He goes, "Oh yeah, they send them over." He goes, "Joe, when interest rates go up, which they will, these guys are going to give these properties back to the bank."
Right,
And so we watched it, and these guys were. It's you got to watch out for these kind of people, but raising that kind of money is so important, but also looking long term. You got to be looking down the road. You can't
right,
be looking as an investor. If you're going into something, you want to make sure where this money is coming from, and is it gonna be there down the road?
right. That makes sense. A lot of sense. So what's your advice to someone that's trying to scale from like one deal to like, well, just trying to grow their portfolio? What is your advice to someone that's going from one to growing?
That's I did. I did that. Started off with one, and I had a home run on our first one. This is probably the worst thing you can do. Had a home run on the first one, so we thought we were really sophisticated investors, and that second one handed us our ass.
Okay.
I mean, handed it to us. We ended up making money on the sale, but it was a three-story walk-up apartment building in Koreatown.
Okay.
Gang area, which is, we didn't have a problem with that. Our first one's in the gang area too. Performed very well. But this second one, three-story walk-up, we didn't realize that how hard it was going to be to keep that third story in that market leased out. Can you imagine carrying groceries up 3 flights of stairs?
Oh,
Largely
that's
Hispanic
right.
community. Yeah, terrible. Terrible.
Oh,
And so, yeah, we had to heavily I mean, the building it needed work, but it was beautiful. The apartments were massive. I mean, they were gorgeous. 1950s construction, all the detail, excuse me,
mhm.
1930s construction was beautiful. And, but yeah, that third floor. And then just the maintenance on the property, we were doing a lot of ourselves. So, but for as far as scaling, really make sure your first few properties, if you're starting to scale, are nearby. Don't be getting. I talked to a guy that he was looking at his second property is 3 hours away. I'm like, 3 hours away? So you're going to spend 6 hours going to and from your property? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So geographically, be very smart about it. Just because another deal doesn't mean you're going to make more money.
Right.
Make sure that the asset you have right now is performing at peak performance. And I sit and say that, and people go, well, of course it's performing at peak performance. I said, okay, is there any way you could be making more money? They go, no, I'm doing everything I can. I said, okay, do you have any accent walls? What's an accent wall? I said, this one gets them every time. Is there's what we would do is we buy 5 gallon buckets of different colored paint that
Mhm.
we could do in an apartment in an off or a apartment, and we give the offering when somebody would come in to lease an apartment. Say, listen, if you want an accent wall, it's an extra $25 a month, and you can pick one of these five, and we'll paint it for you, and you'll have something different than everybody else in the building. Well, not everybody else, but
Right.
it'll be your particular. And people would sign up for that all the time. I said, so okay. I said, how about, do you have covered parking on your property? No, it's all open, no car. I said, well, maybe what you should do is look at maybe putting in carports and charging an extra 50 or $75 a month, because then I showed him the costs on it. So they hadn't looked at all avenues. They had
Right.
not looked at, there's so many ways you can make more money on some of these assets before you move on to the second one. And make sure you're really ready because, and that was in multifamily. Obviously, it's different when you're doing retail but just make sure you're really ready to take on that next phase and make sure the fundamentals are all in place.
Okay, when you do it. All right. Thank you. So what do you see
Mhm.
the biggest commercial opportunities right now in real estate? What do you see?
This is where I always get careful when I get these questions because everything in real estate is so local, right? I'm in a high rise in Brentwood, California right now. Now, if I take
Mhm.
this building and I move it half a mile down, I'm not in Brentwood anymore. So I'm going to be in a completely different market. And so it's going to be less. And so you've got to really think about the market you're in. And that's why real estate is so local. But in this area, you're seeing retail is just, it's doing very, very well right now. Retail is really well. We're seeing industrials really starting to pick up. And office, there's been a lot of office conversion. It's really starting to pick up, right? As far as leasing goes, it's really starting to pick up. But retail investments and retail leasing has been super strong.
So let me ask you this. So what do you mean when you say doing well? What are you saying that you all are making more money, you get more occupancy? What do you mean when you say it's doing well?
More deals have come on place. We're being able to place a lot more sellers and tenants or buyers and tenants.
Tennis. Okay,
So,
that's what it
yep,
is. I got you.
yep,
Okay, that makes sense. All
yep.
right. So let me ask you this. The role in marketing or personal branding, does it
Mhm.
play in helping, with real estate professionals, do you think? They branding or they marketing?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give a plug to something I belong to. It's called the Commercial Real Estate Influencer Summit, CREI summit.com. It's all about marketing yourself. It's 150 of the top brokers around the country get together. This year it's in Savannah in September.
Mhm.
Um, Worth the money to go learn because, right now our company, so one of our companies is Commercial Brokers International, and we're a boutique-ish commercial real estate brokerage firm. And we probably get 1 to 2 leads per week from Chat GPT or any of the AI platforms.
Mhm.
So it works. We put content out on a daily basis. We ask our agents to put content out as much as they can because here's the thing. So it used to be like, you did your cold calls and, you waited for people to call you back or you went out and did the market. Now you can go out and you do inbound and outbound. So outbound with cold calling and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
Inbound, you want people to call you. First of all, they close at a much higher rate than outbound.
You do?
You can create content, get people to call you. It needs to be content based around your asset class and your marketplace. And you need to be putting that out on a regular basis because now with AI, somebody will go on AI, they'll go, okay, AI, um, I want a commercial broker in this market. And AI goes out there and searches. It finds people in that marketplace. It goes, oh, here's Joe. He's been putting content out. So he's a professional in that marketplace. He's an authority figure. Contact him. So that gets my information out there. People start calling me. So, but you got to, there's answer engine optimization and there's SEO. You got to understand all that stuff. And you can really get ahead of a lot of people in this industry because most people aren't doing it. Most commercial real estate agents are not doing it. I was just out yesterday with one of our newer agents, and we do what we call block program.
Mhm.
And that is you go in, you've got it's a retail agent. She does retail leasing in Santa Monica. She goes into each store. She picks 3 blocks. She walks either side of the street. She goes into each store, introduces herself, leaves a lead behind, and her business card, gets to know them, and then just each retail store she goes into introduces herself. No sales. It's just strictly, hi, I'm Teresa. I'm in the market. I live right down the street. And lo and behold, she got business from that. You know how many people actually are going out and do that in retail in in LA? I don't know of any other brokerages that do that,
Right. Do
but
that.
it's so, and she's got the right. I mean, it depends on the personality too, right? If I go do it, probably not going to be near as good as Teresa because she's got the more bubbly personality,
Right.
but it works. So
Okay, so let me ask you this. What's some of the common mistakes you see investors do when they trying to grow or try to grow too fast?
Well, that's the number one. They try and grow too damn fast when they need to absorb a lot. Not getting the right loans. You see a lot of people not getting the right support behind them. You know, you've got to make sure you've got the right money behind them because they're your partner. That bank or that lender, that they're your partner. You want to make sure you're getting the right people that you're working with, and it's very, very important. But also make sure you understand the asset class because had a guy come in here the other day because I want to do retail and he's done multifamily all around California for so long. I said, okay,
Mm.
I get that. It's just a little hard to find right now, but let's see what we can do. And I'm talking to him about it and, you know, understanding the leases, understanding, you know, he didn't really have a grasp of the leases and the way they worked. You know, common area maintenance fees on an office deal he was looking at. He was all over the place. And so, but it was, you really want to make sure you know your asset class. You want to make sure you've got the right partners. Um, it's key. Understanding those leases are key.
Right, you got that right. So I appreciate you telling them that. So let me ask you this. So if you had to start all over today,
Mhm.
okay, what would you focus on first to build momentum in real estate?
I love, you know, I'm in single tenant net lease right now, but if you're starting off, you know, it takes a good amount of capital to get started in that. But retail, a retail on a signalized intersection with good tenants. And, you know, that's really, and I really want it to be signalized intersection, great curb appeal, or I could make it great curb appeal.
Okay, okay, let's stop. Now,
Okay.
notice what you said. I said if you were starting over today, do
Yeah.
you think somebody will give you that type of deal on day one? Let's talk
Yeah.
about that. Because you going on your
Yeah,
experience of what you have. Yeah, they're gonna do you, but we talking about Johnny B.
somebody new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about 10 units in a retail building. I'm talking about like two where you've
right, so
only
that's what
got
I'm
two
saying.
tenants.
Give us that's somebody in here saying, give us something for a person for Bobby. He doesn't have a clue
Yeah.
because that's what
Oh,
we doing. So what
well,
do
we've got an
Bobby do?
investor right now that's new, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to look for a retail tenant building or retail building,
Okay.
signalized intersection, if they can get it, because here in California, there's not very many. If not, they will take just a regular corner. But they just want to find good, solid tenants. You know, so, and they've got some cash. It's a husband and wife. They're just getting started. They had Airbnbs and they sold some of them. Now, if you don't have a lot of cash, if you're new and you don't have a lot of cash, then I would start off with some small multifamily right in your area if you can. You know, just a couple units to really cut your teeth in it. Get it, or invest in a real estate investment trust and read everything have them
Right.
send you all the documents
That's a
and
good idea.
really learn how the whole process is done through that because back to when COVID was going and these guys were taking these investors' money off Twitter and these loans were terrible. I mean, I'm like, you people, you guys need to do some background on this guy. He's new
Right.
to this industry.
Right.
And so a real estate investment trust, you got SEC watch, you got all these people watching it. It's a
Mm-hmm.
little less risky.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Sorry about that. That is
Sure.
exactly what that is when you mention those trusts. We believe in them. I use them, and you're correct.
Yep.
It's a great way for you to learn without obligating as much time you would as
Yeah.
an actual landlord or the
Yeah.
management team.
And
So
when you get the documents sent to you, read them cover to cover, understand them. If you don't, find somebody or go into ChatGPT or any of the and have it break it down for you. That's the beauty of this AI stuff right now, right? You can really break this stuff down. So,
yeah,
but
so they
yeah.
can see it. All right. So he's
Yep.
talking about something that we're not stock market guy. We're just saying that's what you can go look into
Yep.
being a part of. That's all we're saying. All right.
You could put $100 in there and sit back and just start learning or whatever
Ex-
the price is. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I totally agree with that. So with this real estate game, what do you see right now where we're going? Where do you see us going right now?
So I'm very fortunate because we've got our brokerage here in LA. I also own the commercial real estate affiliate network. It's 44 commercial real estate brokerage firms around the country. So I get a lot of insight of what's going on. It depends on the market. I mean, Ohio right now is on fire with retail. It just seems like this company, Nook or Anchor Retail, it just
Mm-hmm.
seems like every day they're posting about a new closing they've got, and they're an incredible company. But, um, retail is still going pretty strong. Industrial in some markets is going pretty strong. Um, Multifamily, here's the thing is a lot of investors getting into multifamily. They're not looking at 5, 10 years down the road. And I'm
Mm.
looking where I live in Santa Monica,
Yeah.
and we've got just one building has 265 units they're getting ready to break ground on. Right across the street is another 265. Right down the street, even not even 3 blocks away, is another couple hundred units going up. It's all
Mm-hmm.
mixed use retail, and we've got in Santa Monica. I don't remember the number of units that have gone up, but we've got brand new buildings that are half full right now. And so you've got all this coming on the market, and you've got empty buildings sitting there, all of it brand new. So what's going to happen there? Prices are going to have to come down, and that's going to affect multifamily investments in that area, not just those buildings, but every place else, because rents are going to go down.
Right.
You
So
know,
you were
so
saying looking at 5 years, they didn't think about or look at the plan, the city plan, let all this
right,
stuff build up. And now
yeah,
you gonna have more apartments than you're
a
gonna
lot
have
more
people.
apartments, a lot more opportunities. It's going to be renters heaven down there because they're going to have to. I mean,
They're gonna drop the
yeah.
rent down.
Yeah, they're gonna have
Right.
to draw. And a lot of investors are not looking. They're thinking about right now. I want this year, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you've got to be forecasting. You got to forecast your income and your investment income.
So what can you offer our audience for them getting in contact with you? What could they get from you? If you would let us know how they
Yeah,
can do that, how that's
you
benefit.
bet. So as we mentioned earlier, I launch commercial real estate companies, and so I've got Commercial Brokers International. I've got the Commercial Real Estate Affiliate Network. All of them, they're growing. Oh, and Icon Capital Advisors. So I have this website behind me, joekillinger.co. On that is if you want to learn pretty much anything about real estate. I've got booklets on there. Everything is for free on there. It's not a moneymaker. If you want books that are recommended by anybody in real estate, we've got them on there. There's a booklet, Your First 90 Days in Commercial Real Estate, or if you want to build a team in commercial real estate. It goes to my YouTube channel that's under Joe Killinger. Everything's under Joe Killinger. Social media, I kept it pretty easy. And it's all there. Or you can just email me at joe@joekillinger.co. Happy to help.
Okay, great. So we have that resource, and we're going to have them also on our partnership page, www.tdjequityllc.net. Referral partners, you'll actually get to see him there, which should link you straight to his website, guys, because he does have a lot of information and a lot of things for us that we can use if you're in the real estate business, you want to grow the real estate business, you want to properly know how to do it. And like he said, I've been to that site. It's amazing the stuff he has out there. There's a lot of free stuff out there, but he's also available if you all need that more in-depth help. And that's what's great. He has a wonderful team working with them. So, Joe, we want to thank you so much for being part of our show. If it's anything you would like to tell our audience, we'll give you that chance to say that before we leave.
No, just please check out the content that we put out. Give us a follow and give us a like, and do check out the YouTube channel. We put a lot of content out. I think in the next couple of days, how we built the Commercial Real Estate Affiliate Network, and there's content on there about being a real estate investor, real estate broker. It's all there for free.
All right, all right. Well, thank you. Y'all have heard it from the Joe Killinger yourself, and we appreciate you for being here with us today. So what we want to do is thank all of our listeners that have been a part of us, and we're asking if you guys want more information and learn more about what we have. We do have everything on our website at www.tdjequityllc.net. Until next time, you all take care, and you all have a great day.
See you, everybody. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of TDJ Equity Funding Insiders Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest or get in touch with us, please visit our website at tdjequityllc.net/podcast or email us at podcast@tdjequityfundinginsiders.net. Until next time, take care.